Hey, 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 we are live. Hello, hello, everyone here in this community. Yes, it's Friday, it's your night. How are you doing? Wherever you are on this big blue marble, how is everyone doing? Tonight, we want to talk about lock in your legacy. Wow. Hmm. Lock in your legacy. Wow. That's kind of crazy, right? What is she talking about? Locking my legacy? All right. So, for those of you who are joining me live, let me know where you're joining from. Come on in and give a comment. Or if you're going to watch a replay, let me know where you're watching from as well so I can come and give you a comment. Because in my reading today and in speaking with a gentleman, I was inspired. So I thought I'd share that with you tonight. Lock in your legacy. And I'm going to tell you how I came up with that. Well, from my reading, of course, and then in chatting with this older gentleman who is over 90. Locking in your legacy. So, for those of you who have not met me before, my name is Yvette Garel, and I come to you live in this community every Friday or on every Saturday. We talk about all kinds of stuff, educate, inspire, um, empower, just talk about stuff. I bring to you anything that kind of give me that little bing, you know, ah, maybe I wasn't really like seriously thinking about that. Or maybe I thought that's something that, yeah, everybody should know. But tonight, we want to look at locking in your legacy. I don't know what you're thinking. What's your legacy? What you consider to be your legacy? What you consider to be a legacy anyway? But we're going to talk about that tonight. Locking in your legacy. Have you locked in your legacy? What is it that is your legacy? All right. Well, if you have not met me before, of course, I'm Yvette Garel and I do come to this community, but also come as a social media coach. I teach, help people, coach people how to leverage the power of social media, take their business online and let it thrive. We have all kinds of social media tools that are here to be used, and that's what we do. That's what I do. So I'm here. So if you're out there, you need some help bringing your business online, managing the social media tools, how to use some of them. I would see you can get the engagement and the attraction that you need because online it's different. It's a different because there's no face to face. You're talking about to the wide world, and there is some specific skills that you need to garner. But tonight, I want to know: have you locked in your legacy? All right. Well, the writer here is talking about, oh, let me turn my music off. Yes, because, I'm reading and I'm listening. Yeah. So the writer here is talking about pretty much your legacy. What do you have to leave behind? Because, we let's face it, we're gonna all expire one of these days. We're gonna say ta-ta to this lovely world and we're gonna go someplace else. So we're not here to preach that to get anybody really nervous, because the word said it is appointed unto man once to die. So we all gonna leave here. So let's face it, we're going. We don't know when, but one of these days. But have you locked in your legacy? So have you considered what do you have to leave behind for those that follow, for the generation that are coming, for the generation after us? What are we doing for them? Huh? What kind of motivational tool are you leaving for them? Is it, what are we leaving them to? My parents, they often, in growing up, like when I was younger, they used to tell us some things, out of their experiences, out of what they know. They used to encourage. We understand anything they were talking about then. We're like, what are they talking about? Like it was so far over yonder, or just never make any sense. But now, yep, now as I get older, as I grew older, as I was growing older, things are coming. that makes sense. I remember some of the things they used to say. I remember some of the things they used to encourage us to do, and we just blow them off. We listen, of course, but we don't do. And then when the time came, that you be like, oh, I don't know about you. Oh, is that what she was talking about? Is that what he was talking about? Yeah. So we are in a very good position now to help those, our children, our grandchildren, and friends, family members, whomever they are. We're in a better position now to encourage someone, to help someone, to share the information with someone so they understand that leaving a legacy is paramount, my friends. And it doesn't always have to be money. There's so many other things that we can leave with our offsprings, with our children, you know, from now. Inculcate that into them. Let them know. Don't wait until the last minute when you get them. No, now that you might have, your your faculties in place, and everything is coherent and congruent, everything is working well. Yeah, have conversations, you know, pass on information. That's so important. Oh my goodness. You don't want to be left when they are gone with a situation and you have no information to how to proceed. Mark, I tell you that. I have had that experience. But tonight, leaving your legacy, lock in your legacy. Something, I don't care what it is, lock it in because it's important. Who knows when we will leave this place? So, but we want somebody to be able to articulate, okay, this is what Yvette wanted, or this is what she's left. This is what she wanted you to have or to feel or to, experience. So we know all the things that we are able to do. So let's look at a few of them that this writer talks about. He said, purpose, purpose, purpose. We all have a purpose here. Now, have we articulated that to our spouse, our children? Are we living it out so that somebody can see that, okay, yeah, they are on a mission? Something is sticking. Yeah, some passion is rolling up right up in there, and they are on a roll. Have you done that? Have you articulated that? Are you emulating that? Are people seeing that in you? Yeah, that's part of what your legacy is. You're good. Maybe your work, you're very you're very frugal with your money. You are very straightforward in your thoughts. You are, you are hard worker. You have great work ethics. All of that. Somebody is watching. Somebody is seeing. Somebody is paying attention. And for the people that are closest to you, you think they're not paying attention? Think again. They are paying attention. They're emulating. They're, at least, even if they don't do it in your presence, yeah, they're going to remember. Oh, my grandmama, she used to sit at that sewing machine, and when she had work to do, she would spend time and whatever, made the garment. Well, she would iron it, or make sure that it was ready, so when it was time for pickup, it was ready. People didn't have to come and wait for it. Huh? That speaks volume. So they are seeing that you are on time with your work, with the delivery. Yeah. Then you spend time to make sure that you get the corners and the creases and whatever you're doing, the seams, perfect. They match, they all line up. They're paying attention. That could be your legacy you're leaving with your child, your grandchild. Paying attention to details. Yeah, that could be a legacy. So they know that when they see anything that is not lining up with that kind of importance, people are just throwing stuff down. They'll be like, They'll pull back, bring people, they'll be able to say something. They'll be able to say, okay, well, no, I remember. And that's how it used to be. So now let's do that and see if we get a better results in the end. So, things work, and nothing is set in stone, but there's some things that really rub off on us and we'll never forget. All of us remember something from someone. Okay, so the inspiration, people inspire you daily. My goodness, you in turn begin to inspire others. It's a natural course, my friends. You're passing it on. That's part of your legacy. When you leave this place, they're gonna be like, oh well, Miss Yvette always come on with her Facebook Live and she talk about stuff and stuff. What about you? What about you? What are they going to say about you? So you got to remember that. So the memories that we allow to be formed now, all the experiences that we are creating now, we are leaving a legacy with our family members, our children, our co-workers. They'll remember us. As I said that, when you go to a homegoing service, a celebration of life, and they're reading that eulogy, or for a better word, and they talk about the things that how the person was, the thing that the person did, the life that they lived. Come on, that's that person's legacy. Now, how the impact that they made on someone else, we don't know. But let's put our feet in that shoe. If that were you, what impact are you leaving on somebody else's life? Huh? So, so we can choose. True? We can choose. Do I want to leave a legacy? Do I want to lock in anything? Do I want to, how do I want to be remembered when I leave here? So we can choose. We can choose. It's our choice, right? It's your choice as well. So we do this, though, we made this choice by living a life of purpose. So it's your choice again if you want to be purposeful with your life. Now, it's your choice again if you just want to just float through. That's your legacy anyway, if you float through. If you didn't impact or you impacted, that's the legacy. So regardless, but all of us want to lock in our legacy of what is it and how is it, how we want to remembered or be remembered, how we want to people to know about us. You see, when we read about in all these books, we read the people who have passed on long time ago that have written these books and they have left their footprints and time, and we are now reading them and gleaming from what their thoughts were. That's their legacy. They left it behind for us. What are we leaving behind for someone else? I know some of us are writing books, some of us are writing memoirs, some of us are just doing stuff. And yes, well, I hope that everybody's doing something so that you can be remembered, because we pass this through this life but once. So we have to leave footprints so that somebody can glean from it. Somebody can use it as a blueprint to move on with their life, or help them navigate through circumstances, or prepare them to leave something else for the next. Build on it, huh? Build on it. Make what you have left better so that the next generation can have better and fuller experience and be like, oh, yeah, it started off A, now we are at D. Look at how it has progressed. See what I'm saying? Building on it. Huh? I remember when people, when the news came out that people were going to the moon. Oh my goodness, who thought that anybody could go to the moon? Now they're going to Mars. Now they're going all over the place. Now everything is now we almost commercialized going into space. Look at that. Space was just like one of them places that was like way out of reach. Way out of reach. Nobody even thought about how would we even enter into space. Now going into space is has become a part of what we do. For those who have been like going back and forth, and building all these new space shuttle and so on, that people can have the experience, even 10 minutes up there, they have done that. It's now happening. Now, those persons who came up with all that, they're leaving their legacy behind, maybe their partners or children, whatever, whomever, to build on that. Now, maybe by the time in the next 10, 20 years or whenever, we have regular trips going into space, who knows, right? But what I'm saying is, what's your legacy? What are you leaving behind for someone to glean from, for someone to work with, to use, so it could be anything, and I know people are like, oh, I don't have any money to leave. I don't. What about your wisdom? What about your assets? What other assets? It doesn't have to be the dollar sign, the tangible dollar figure. But if that is available, that's good. What about some good thoughts of kindness, of love, of how to show people that they don't have to be negative, inspiration, inspire them. How about some helping them to become a better, we talk about becoming a better version of ourselves. How about coaching them into becoming a better version of themselves, right? So we can help people emotionally. A lot of people are kind of just like really closed up. We can, help them out of that state. And so they can now realize that there's something better. There's a brighter world out there with the so they don't have to stay in that emotional state all the time and not move. Huh? How about spiritually? Huh? We know that there is somebody greater than you and I. How about talking about how to develop that relationship with God? How to find your place spiritually, if that's how, or if you want to go the other way, that's a choice. Remember, I said that's a choice. But how about if you could help them to make the choice into a better play, into a better way where they can actually see themselves leaving on some legacy for somebody else, having the experience, sharing some good memories, or memories, whatever good, or just whatever memories are bad too, but they all serve a purpose. Help them to emotionally exhibit ways that bringing up their children in a healthy way, huh? Not in a way that they beat them down and they cannot. What we used to say, children must be seen and not heard. Who remembers that? I remember when I was a young girl, children must be seen and not heard. And I'm gonna tell you, hmm, that was a culture then, that when the older folks were speaking, you better just stand in a little corner and listen. You dare not open up your mouth. Children must be seen and not heard. Is that the same thing today? Things have changed, my friends. And so we need to help to embrace these changes, and also help to inculcate others to adapt to these changes, because the children do have a voice. Yes, that was the culture then, but things can change. Remember, change. Things have evolved and things change. Yes, children do have a voice and they can be heard. However, I believe that in some situations, that of course, if they're not allowed to speak, then they should wait, right? So there's a process here. So all right, so how about finding their spirituality, huh? Making that connection. Yes. So that's something that, if that's your strong point, if that's something that you totally believe in, then you find someone that needs help in that direction, help them. Help them leave your legacy, lock in a legacy, because they will be able to tell someone later when you're gone. I remember when Mary was in a bad, when I was in a bad place or in a dark place, and Mary helped me out. And as I got to that point, let me share a story with you. Many years ago, probably about 40 years ago, and I as a teacher, I probably shared this already at some other occasion, but as a teacher, because it's several of them, but I'm gonna share you one. As a teacher, you go in, you help the kids, you teach, you help them to learn, you help them to understand, you help them to apply and all that good stuff. You want to see growth, so you work with the kids. And I remember this particular person. Um, yeah, I remembered after he reminded me after so many years, because so many kids, you're talking about 17, 18, 20 years of teaching, so many kids, a lot. And so I got a message one day. I was traveling and I got this. I was in the airport sitting down, scrolling through my phone like we normally do. Got this message. I saw this person say, "Hi, Miss Yvette," or yeah. And I was like, "Hi." I'm like, "Okay, so who is this?" There was no face, when you get that Facebook user with no picture. Yeah. So I wondered who this person was. And then I'm like, "So who is this?" And the person said, they said, "Oh, my name is so and so. You might not remember me, but I remember you." I'm like, okay. So now I'm digging. Now I'm asking question from where, and then he did say which school he was, because I taught at more than one school, and so on and so forth. And so he gave me the information that I was looking for. And so I remembered, I said, "Oh," but in my memory, I was just remembering him as a student. Yeah, just as a student, no particularly nothing attached. But he reminded me of this particular occasion. He reminded, but I did not know that much. But he reminded me, said, "You helped me when I was in a very dark place in my life." Now, as a teacher, you go out. Well, I'm not a psychologist. I'm not a counselor. I'm a straight secondary education teacher, and I go. Some things you pick up emotionally. You can, if you're sensitive enough, and some things you pick up, but some things you don't. So you're there. You're doing your curriculum, because remember, now that's what drives. That's what drives the result. At the end of the day, they got to pass these exams. So you're doing stuff. But he said, "I remember you when I was in a very dark place. You helped me." And he mentioned what I did. And I was like, okay. So I had to pause, because to tell you the truth, it took me a while to remember. It's so many of them, so many children, and you have helped them in so many different ways. So it took me back, and I had to kind of drill down, and I had to start thinking now, what to find that particular time when I did make an impact on that child's life. And now he said, you helped me out of this very dark place. And now here I am. And he mentioned, what he was doing now, and what he went on to further studies and so on and so forth. But he was having a particular issue that, as I remember, as I begin to recall this. Yeah. And I worked with him. Oh my goodness. He sat at my table. I mean, I know that different cultures operate differently. Yeah, but I took him under my wings. I nurtured him, helped him out of what he was going through. But how he described it, it's kind of just made me just like really, and tears begin to flow from my eyes. Yes, people, I cry. I was like, oh my goodness. I'm talking about like so many years later on down the road. And so that was just one. And then I started to think about all the other people and other children and students, that I came across. And I'm like, oh my goodness. But for me, I was just doing the job. I was helping. That's my primary purpose in the classroom, to help these kids to become a better person, to bring them to the point where they can leave this when they graduate. They have grown, they have changed, they can um cope into society, whatever, which direction they're going. So that was my job. That's how I felt. I had a obligation to help these kids, no matter which circumstances, from whence they came, how, as long as I know what they need the help with, I'm gonna drive that home, and because that's why they came. All right. All right. So that's some impact that I took for granted, that was just helping. But had such a great impact on him. And even unto this day, he keeps reminding me, and, really tear me up all the time, because I think about some children who really don't get that kind of attention and don't receive that kind of help. But anyway, but lock in your legacy, my people. Lock in your legacy, whether it's spiritual, whether it's emotional, lock it in, physical, take care of yourself, your health, you know, because by you taking care of yourself, other people are going like, oh, well, she's walking, or she's, whatever you're doing. People see, they watch, and they're not going to tell you that they're looking, they're paying attention. They're learning something from you. Lock in your legacy. What will they say about your work ethics? What will they say about your kindness, your love, your gentleness, how you treat them, your relationship? Lock in your legacy. You know, all of us want to be healthy. So we want to leave a legacy of a good health, and managing our health behind for our kids. So we need to go to the doctor when it's time, check, you know, go to the dentist, wherever, maybe do some exercise, eat right, eat the right foods, don't take care of our bodies, don't just beat ourselves up, and that's what they see. And that's what they think, oh, that's what mama did, or that's what daddy did. So that's what I'm going to do. Lock in your legacy. What is it you want them to carry on after you leave this world? Financially, lock in your legacy financially. Now, we sometimes, I don't know, I've spoken to a lot of people sometimes that I've not given very serious thought to their financial well-being. Mm. Because of course, it's for them. What about those you're leaving behind? Yeah, your investments, wherever, your assets, lock in your legacy. It's a very serious um, situation, my friends, because, and I'll bring you another story. I spoke to a gentleman just today, and he spoke about his legacy, not mine. He spoke about his legacy. Oh, well, way up, the Bible said 70. He's way past that, way up, gone up, on his ladder, on the ladder, on the latter end of the spectrum, leading to the 100 years. And so he said, I did this when I was much younger. I did these things when I was much younger, that now I can live like this. That's powerful. So he said, I did all, and he named them out, and some things, investments and so on and so forth, put his money to work. And right now, money is a tool. He put that money to work. He worked that tool. So now he can live and get people to take care of him, or, whatever he needs, and doesn't have to be struggling to the point where he doesn't have. Lock it in your legacy. It was so funny that I didn't even realize. I just talked to him today, and then, but I read this before, and now I said, okay, let me deliver this, and now it just lined up. Alignment. See that? Yeah. So there's a book, Rich Dad Poor Dad. That's a very good book on knowing how to handle your money. That's a good book. You can buy books for your kids, have them read. I don't know, a lot of people don't like to read these days. We should be reading some of these information, the legacy that they left behind for us. We should be reading and putting some of these things into practice, and educating our children, our grandchildren, in the simplest way, how to manage their little money. They do their chores, they make their $5 bills. What are you going to do with that? I remember, I think it was Warren Buffett says, if you make $1, you never spend the dollar off. You save some. Lock in your legacy. How about your relationship with your spouse, with your children, with your parents, with your other family members? What will they say about you? Huh? Lock in your legacy, my friends. It's so important. How did you forgive them of the things that they did to you? Did you forgive them? Did you still have that grudge? Do you still do you still have that hatred in you built up towards them? Um, so what are we passing on? The children are watching, the grandchildren are watching, your co-workers are watching. Yes, they know you had a little squabble over there, but have you forgiven that person? Have you reestablished the love and the kindness and the fellowship? And I know some things are hard. Yep, hard. Don't get me wrong. Yes, that forgiveness piece is tough. But remember, if you don't forgive, then you are you gonna get your forgiveness? Hmm? You have to forgive. So free yourself. That's another story. When you don't forgive, you're not being forgiven. So you can't experience the freedom that you want to have. You gotta let it go, my friends. You gotta let it go. Free yourself of it because you think you're hurting the next person over there, but you're not. You're hurting yourself. So that's forgiveness piece is another story. So what about so we have to seek to find ways to forgive, you know? And I know, yeah, it's hard to forget, but we gotta forgive. Because if we don't, then we live with that toxic in that toxic if real that toxicity I can't even kind of word the toxic system, it's like, yeah, it's just like forgiveness lead to so many other things, aggression, you're always angry. It's like, this thing just builds up in you because, man, the hatred and the just the what's the word I'm looking for? Just that, just that angriness, that anger. Always, it's like everybody is a problem, you know, because of you grow up into you build up that negativity. Now it's like the cesspool. Yeah, that's the word I'm looking for. The septic tank. Yep, that's the word I'm looking for. It becomes, yeah, and so it's like you're now carrying all of that. Yeah, gotta let it go, my friends. What's your legacy that you're locking in for your kids, for your grandchildren, for your friends, your family member, your spouse? How hard it is to forgive the spouse. Yep, gotta let it go. Gotta find a way to mend it. Find a way to figure it out. Find a way to clean it up. Yep, I understand all of that. Been married for a long time. I know how that is. Yep, it's tough, but you gotta find a way, work it out. Yep, the hurt. It's hard. Yeah, but we've got to, because we don't want to leave with all of that. We don't want to live with just being miserable and just angry and just not happy. All that unforgiveness piece, that's what that makes you that it brings that on. And so you can leave educational pieces, educate them on stuff, empower them and stuff, leave a legacy, lock it in, my friends. It's a daily, you don't have to just um assign a day to know the life you live. Yeah, the life you live with all these little bits and pieces, the life I live with all these little bits and pieces, we are passing on to other folks. So our legacy is going to live on. They'll remember us for something. And if you write a book, write your memoir, if you journal, whatever, yeah, you are laying it down for somebody else to read. And that's your legacy. Huh? Whatever it is, whatever you write on when you hurt, when you cried, when you lost your mom, when the hurricane took your house, you name it. Because one of the things is that if we don't tell people our story, then they won't know. We cannot. They said that what people always say. There's so much richness in the graveyard. I don't even like to talk this, because people have left with so much stuff. They did not have an opportunity, maybe, to pass it on, but you have an opportunity. If you're listening to me, you have an opportunity. So find a way, figure it out, write it down, gather them around. My parents used to gather us around, after dinner and gather son, and they used to sit and talk and share, but I know that things are different now, with the invent of the television and all the commercialized, but we need to find a way how to develop that social entity where we can communicate and share and talk to our children. Yeah, yeah. And I'm gonna be doing the last one. I know this is long, but I was so inspired today when I spoke to that gentleman. I was like, oh my goodness. He said, you have to plan it out. When you're young, you got to plan it out because we will get old, huh? Yeah, we will reach a point where somebody has to do something first. That's what he was saying. You will get, and if you live long enough, you will get to a point where you can do it for yourself. What's the plan? So tonight, I just thought that I would share this tonight. Lock in your legacy, and we can do it. We can do it, but it's a choice. We can choose to do it. We can choose not to do it. But if it means anything to you, lock in your legacy with your family, with your kids. Don't leave unfinished business. I'm telling you, it's hard when things are not lined up and you got to go through here. You got to get the lawyer, got, all that good stuff. You got to get it right, straighten it up. That's it. That's all I got to say tonight. I'm not like, I'm not like really scaring anyone, but I thought that was so important for me to share. And your impact, such a powerful word, impact. Your legacy will impact someone. Yeah. When I read all these books, Stephen Covey, Dale Carnegie, John C. Maxwell, Napoleon Hill, Tim Grover, and all those books, that's impactful. They wrote down their stuff and it has impacted all of us that read it. Huh? Sarah, what's the Robbins book, all those books. And yeah, and the best book of all, the Bible, the records of what happened in the historical times. We read so many books, and the books we use in school, all of those are legacy things that people have recorded, writers have recorded, have left it for us. What are you leaving behind? That's the question. I'm gonna leave it to answer that. So for that now, you go now and think about your legacy. Lock it in some way, shape, or form. Something, even one thing. Pass it on to someone. What is it? You decide. You choose. All right, my friends, it's Friday night, and I want to make sure that you guys have a great weekend, whatever it is, whatever you have to do, whomever you're spending it with. Enjoy yourself. Of course, love upon your family. Take care of yourself. And I'll see you on Friday. And thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for even hopping on tonight. Yes, it's a little later than normal, but I really had to deliver this tonight. Yes, lock in your legacy. What is it? Make an impact. You choose, you decide. Talk to you later. Bye.